Part 1, Introduction, Unveiling the Enigma of Jewish Wealth. Beloved stewards of God's abundant grace, on the Word on Wealth, we continually seek to unlock the profound mysteries of God's provision and purpose in our lives. Today, we turn our attention to a captivating phenomenon, one that has intrigued economists, sociologists, and casual observers alike: the remarkable and often disproportionate financial success observed within the Jewish community across generations and diverse geographies. It's a reality that, for many, begs the question, how and why does this pattern emerge so consistently? Is it merely coincidence, a stroke of inexplicable luck, or perhaps, as some might erroneously suggest, the result of some secret, esoteric knowledge? Friends, let me immediately challenge any such misconceptions. This observable reality is neither accidental nor mystical in any exclusive sense. Rather, it is, in my considered theological and practical assessment, the discernible fruit of centuries of meticulously preserved traditions, deeply ingrained values, and profoundly astute strategies that have their roots not in some hidden lore, but in timeless, universal principles often drawn from ancient biblical wisdom and refined through generations of practical application. It is a testament to the power of a specific cultural and spiritual heritage that has, with remarkable consistency, nurtured a distinct approach to finances, work, and intergenerational planning. This is not about celebrating one ethnic group over another. It is about humbly discerning the principles that, when applied by anyone, can yield similar, extraordinary results. For too long, the Church has perhaps inadvertently separated the spiritual from the practical, divorcing faith from finance, and thereby hindering believers from walking in the holistic abundance that our benevolent Creator desires. Many sincere Christians, despite their earnest prayers and faithful tithing, find themselves in a perpetual cycle of financial struggle, while simultaneously observing others, who may or may not share their faith, achieving remarkable prosperity. This disparity often leads to confusion, even frustration. But what if the very principles that have underpinned the financial flourishing of the Jewish people are not exclusive, but are instead accessible, divine blueprints meant for all who would embrace them? This series promises to be an exploration, a discerning journey into these profound principles, values and strategies that transcend cultural boundaries and possess the transformative power to revolutionize your own financial journey, moving you from a place of chronic scarcity to one of sustained, biblical abundance. It is crucial to understand from the outset that our discussion will not merely be about the accumulation of money. While material provision is certainly a part of God's desire for His children, the ultimate goal, as always on the Word on Wealth, is to equip you to create a legacy that impacts generations, a legacy of wisdom, generosity, and purposeful influence that extends far beyond your immediate circumstances. This is wealth with a higher calling, resources steward for God's glory and the flourishing of His kingdom on earth. The very foundation of this transformative journey, and indeed the initial key to unlocking any form of lasting wealth, resides in a profound shift in mindset. As the ancient wisdom of Proverbs 23 verse 7 so powerfully declares, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." This verse, profound in its simplicity, cuts to the very core of our being. It reveals that our external reality, including our financial standing, is often a direct reflection of our internal beliefs, our deeply held convictions, and the prevailing thoughts that occupy the landscape of our hearts and minds. If we harbor a scarcity mindset, believing that there is never enough, that opportunities are limited, or that prosperity is reserved for others, then, tragically, our actions and our outcomes will inevitably align with that limiting belief. We will subconsciously sabotage opportunities, avoid necessary risks, or fail to see the abundance that already exists around us. Conversely, when we embrace a mindset rooted in biblical abundance, a deep conviction that our God is limitless, that He owns everything, that He delights in providing for His children, and that the universe is replete with untapped potential, then our hearts begin to expand. Our thoughts shift from fear to faith, from lack to limitless possibilities. We begin to see opportunities where others see obstacles. We are empowered to act with courage, wisdom, and generosity, knowing that our provision comes from an inexhaustible source. This foundational shift is not merely wishful thinking, it is a conscious alignment of our inner world with the unshakable truth of God's nature. It is the spiritual bedrock upon which any true and lasting financial prosperity, any enduring legacy, must be built. Without this fundamental change in our heart thinking, all other strategies, however sound, will ultimately prove fleeting. Throughout this series, we will delve into specific, actionable principles rooted in God's Word, that, when consistently applied with this abundance mindset, have historically led to flourishing and generational impact. Prepare to have your understanding of wealth challenged, expanded, and ultimately, transformed, as we unveil the enigma and reclaim the timeless wisdom that can propel you into your divine financial destiny, all to the glory of our magnificent God. Part 2: The Historical and Cultural Bedrock of Jewish Financial Resilience. With the bedrock of an abundance mindset firmly established, the crucial understanding that as one thinks in their heart, so they are, we can now delve into the deep historical and cultural forces that have shaped the Jewish community's approach to wealth for millennia. This is not about specific financial products or investment strategies, but about the very ethos, the foundational values, that have fostered remarkable financial resilience and flourishing across diverse contexts and through countless generations. One of the most profound historical roots of Jewish financial acumen lies in the immense importance placed on education and the meticulous transmission of knowledge. From ancient times, the Jewish people have been known as the people of the book, not merely in reference to the Torah, but to a vast body of sacred texts, commentaries, and oral traditions meticulously studied and debated across generations. The intense, lifelong study of the Talmud, in particular, is far more than a theological exercise. It is a rigorous intellectual discipline that cultivates exceptional critical thinking, sharp analytical skills, and sophisticated problem-solving abilities. Talmudic study involves complex logical argumentation, the examination of multiple perspectives, and the diligent search for practical applications of abstract principles. This deep engagement with intricate texts trains the mind to discern patterns, anticipate consequences, and navigate complex situations, skills directly transferable to business, finance, and every sphere of life. The wise King Solomon declares in Proverbs 1 verse 7, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, fools despise wisdom and instruction." This foundational reverence for God undergirds the pursuit of knowledge, viewing it not as an end in itself, but as a divine gift to be honed for practical living and spiritual growth. This ingrained culture of intellectual rigor, passed from parent to child, has created generations equipped with the mental agility necessary for financial success. Furthermore, the challenging historical experiences of dispersion and exile have, paradoxically, played a crucial role in fostering adaptability and leading many Jews to excel in fields like trade and finance. Repeatedly uprooted from their lands, often denied access to land ownership or traditional crafts, and frequently facing persecution, Jewish communities were forced to develop a highly resilient and creative mindset. They learned to thrive in precarious environments, often becoming intermediaries, merchants, and financiers, professions that were transportable and less reliant on fixed assets. This historical reality demanded ingenuity, trust building across borders, and the ability to identify and fill economic gaps. It fostered a unique brand of entrepreneurial spirit, not born out of privilege, but out of necessity and a deep-seated determination to survive and flourish in ever-changing circumstances. This adaptability, born from adversity, became a powerful engine for innovation and economic resilience. Alongside intellectual prowess and adaptability, a strong work ethic has always been a hallmark of Jewish culture. There is a deep-seated respect for labor and a profound understanding that God's blessings often flow through diligent effort. This is coupled with a unique and powerful sense of collective responsibility and mutual support within the community. Jewish tradition places immense value on Ahavat Yisrael, the love of fellow Jews, which translates into practical, tangible support systems. Communities historically established gemakim, free loan societies, and robust networks for business advice, mentorship, and practical assistance. This emphasis on mutual support strengthens communal bonds and creates a powerful ecosystem for collective growth. When one member prospers, the entire community benefits, and when one struggles, others rally to uplift them. This spirit of unity echoes the words of our Lord Jesus in John 13 verse 34, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another." This communal love translates into practical support, fostering an environment where individuals can take calculated risks, knowing they have a safety net and a network of support, which naturally leads to greater collective prosperity. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the historical bedrock of Jewish financial resilience is firmly built upon crucial values like honesty, integrity, and particularly, charity, known as tzedakah. The Hebrew word tzedakah means more than just charity. It is rooted in the concept of tzedek, justice or righteousness. Giving to others, especially the poor, is not merely an optional act of benevolence, but a fundamental obligation, an act of justice, and a pathway to righteousness. This frames wealth not merely as a personal privilege or an opportunity for self-aggrandizement, but as a profound responsibility, a tool to be leveraged for the betterment of society and the fulfillment of divine commands. Integrity in business dealings, honoring agreements, and upholding a reputation for trustworthiness have been paramount for centuries, especially in a world where trust was currency. This deep commitment to values, to education, adaptability, hard work, mutual support, honesty, and purposeful giving, has not only fostered financial success but has ensured that this success is rooted in a framework of ethical responsibility, creating a legacy of flourishing that truly honors God. Part 3, Pillar 1, the lifelong pursuit of knowledge and financial acumen. Having laid the foundational bedrock of an abundance mindset and understood the historical and cultural forces at play, we now delve into the first profound pillar supporting Jewish financial resilience, the relentless, lifelong pursuit of knowledge and its direct application to financial acumen. This is not merely an admirable trait, it is a cornerstone of their culture and, consequently, a powerful tool for building and sustaining wealth across generations. In Jewish culture, education is not simply a means to an end, it is an end in itself, a sacred endeavor. From the earliest ages, children are not just encouraged, but expected, to diligently pursue knowledge. This commitment to learning is woven into the very fabric of daily life. Practices such as the Shaviti, a meditative practice where one places the Hebrew verse, "I have set the Lord always before me," Psalm 16 verse 8, in their line of sight, are often accompanied by a broader emphasis on continuous study of sacred scriptures, commentaries, and, crucially, their practical implications for living a righteous and prosperous life. This intense intellectual engagement fosters a deep-seated reverence for wisdom and a methodical approach to problem-solving. This relentless pursuit of wisdom, of understanding how the world works, naturally extends far beyond purely spiritual matters into every practical domain of life, including economics, law, medicine, science, and technology. The Book of Proverbs, a treasury of divine wisdom, repeatedly emphasizes the value of knowledge. Proverbs 18 verse 15 states, "An intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge." This is not a passive acquisition but an active pursuit, a hunger for understanding. This deep-seated value for knowledge means that Jewish individuals are often predisposed to be lifelong learners, constantly seeking to understand the intricate workings of their chosen fields, economic principles, and the nuances of the markets they engage in. This intellectual curiosity and commitment to continuous learning are invaluable assets in the dynamic landscape of wealth creation and preservation. Let's consider practical examples of how this pillar manifests. An entrepreneur deeply rooted in this tradition understands that their initial success is not a license to become complacent. Instead, they consistently invest in their own leadership development, meticulously study market trends, and relentlessly upgrade their financial literacy. They might enroll in executive education programs, devour books on business strategy and investment, or seek out mentors who possess deeper insights. They recognize that knowledge is not static, it is a constantly evolving resource that must be continually replenished and expanded to navigate economic challenges, adapt to new technologies, and seize emerging opportunities. This constant thirst for understanding naturally fosters a resilient growth mindset, essential for navigating the inevitable ups and downs of any economic cycle. Furthermore, a critical aspect of this pillar is the vital role of intergenerational knowledge transfer. It's not enough for one generation to acquire knowledge. There is an inherent responsibility to pass that wisdom down to the next. This isn't just about formal education, but about practical, lived wisdom. It means teaching children the principles of compound interest not just as a mathematical formula, but as a real-world engine for wealth growth. It means engaging children in conversations about financial decisions, demonstrating responsible stewardship, and instilling in them an understanding of market dynamics from an early age. The Jewish emphasis on passing down traditions and wisdom ensures that valuable financial lessons, strategic approaches, and even entrepreneurial insights are transmitted fluidly from one generation to the next, building a cumulative advantage over time. This consistent, deliberate transfer of financial acumen, combined with a cultural imperative for continuous learning, creates a powerful feedback loop that reinforces and expands the community's capacity for wealth creation and enduring legacy. It ensures that prosperity is not just achieved but sustained, because the wisdom that generated it is continuously cultivated and shared. This relentless pursuit of knowledge, viewed as both a spiritual and practical imperative, stands as a formidable pillar of Jewish financial resilience. Part 4, Pillar 2, Building Unbreakable Support Networks and Community. Having explored the foundational commitment to lifelong knowledge and financial acumen, we now turn to the second, equally powerful pillar underpinning Jewish financial resilience, the unwavering dedication to building and maintaining unbreakable support networks and a robust sense of community. This goes far beyond casual friendships. It speaks to the cultivation of organized structures designed for mutual growth, collective responsibility, and enduring strength. At the heart of this pillar is the profound understanding that true, sustained financial success is rarely, if ever, achieved in isolation. Instead, it is a synergistic outcome of interconnected relationships where each member of the community, in essence, acts as an investor in the success of others. This creates a virtuous cycle. As one individual or family prospers, they are then better positioned to support others, whether through mentorship, investment, or practical assistance, thereby lifting the entire collective. This deep-seated commitment to mutual aid and the well-being of the broader community finds its resonance in the ancient biblical commandment found in Leviticus 19 verse 18, "You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord." This sacred injunction to love one's neighbor translates into a practical, actionable commitment to seeing others flourish and to actively contributing to their well-being. Consider concrete examples of how this pillar manifests in practice. Within many Jewish communities, participation in various organizations extends beyond social gatherings to robust platforms for sharing business ideas, identifying professional connections, and even providing crucial financial backing for new ventures. This might take the form of formal business associations, informal networking groups, or even the aforementioned Gemakim, free loan societies, which provide interest-free loans to community members for business startups, education, or emergency needs. These are not merely charitable endeavors, they are strategic investments in the human capital and collective prosperity of the community. A young entrepreneur with a promising idea might receive mentorship from an elder statesman in the industry, gain access to essential contacts, or secure initial capital from a trusted communal fund, all based on a foundation of shared trust and collective interest. This is a far cry from the cutthroat individualism often promoted in the secular world. It's a model of collective uplift. Furthermore, this pervasive sense of collective responsibility acts as an invaluable safety net during times of crisis, be it personal, economic, or societal. When a business faces a downturn, or an individual experiences unexpected hardship, they are not left to flounder alone. The community rallies, offering resources, counsel, and emotional support. This communal resilience fosters an extraordinary level of confidence and encourages innovation. Entrepreneurs are more likely to take calculated risks, to push the boundaries of creativity, and to pursue ambitious goals when they know they are not operating in a vacuum, but within a supportive ecosystem. The fear of failure, while still present, is mitigated by the knowledge that failure is not the end, but a learning opportunity within a nurturing environment. This collective strength empowers individuals to bounce back from setbacks, knowing that their community has their back. It is a powerful antidote to isolation and fosters a bold spirit. Ultimately, this pillar emphasizes that true, lasting financial success is achieved, not through isolated genius or ruthless competition, but through connection and the cultivation of deep, trust-based relationships. It's about understanding that our individual flourishing is inextricably linked to the flourishing of those around us. By actively investing in and supporting our community, we are simultaneously investing in our own potential and ensuring a robust, resilient path to collective and sustained prosperity. This communal strength, built on principles of mutual aid and collective responsibility, stands as an unshakable pillar for generating and preserving wealth across generations. It demonstrates that the path to abundance is often walked together, hand in hand, strengthening one another along the way. Part 5, Pillar 3, Ethical Entrepreneurship and Strategic Business Vision. We have now explored the profound impact of lifelong learning and the strength derived from unbreakable community networks. These pillars provide the intellectual and relational infrastructure for the third essential component of Jewish financial resilience, a distinctive approach to ethical entrepreneurship and a far-sighted strategic business vision. This pillar delves into how businesses are conceived, operated, and sustained within this framework, placing integrity and long-term viability at the forefront. The foundational principle here is an unwavering commitment to ethics and integrity in all business dealings. It is understood that a lasting reputation, built on honesty and trustworthiness, is an invaluable asset, far more precious than fleeting profits. The wisdom of Proverbs 16 verse 8 powerfully encapsulates this. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without justice. This isn't merely a moral platitude, it's a practical business strategy. A reputation for honesty attracts reliable partners, fosters customer loyalty, and builds enduring trust within the marketplace. In communities where business networks are strong and interconnected, a single act of dishonesty can severely damage one's standing and future opportunities. This inherent emphasis on ethical conduct provides a profound competitive edge, leading to repeat business, strong word-of-mouth referrals, and a stable foundation for growth. It prioritizes long-term, mutually beneficial relationships with customers, suppliers, and employees over opportunistic, quick gains that might compromise reputation. This long-term perspective is crucial for ensuring generational stability in family businesses, where values are passed down alongside balance sheets. Furthermore, this pillar emphasizes a unique ability to identify and capitalize on unique opportunities, coupled with a willingness to act with boldness and creativity. Historically, due to periods of displacement and restrictions on certain professions, Jewish individuals were often compelled to innovate and find niches where their skills and knowledge could be applied. This fostered a sharp eye for unmet needs and emerging trends. This entrepreneurial spirit, often honed in challenging circumstances, manifests in pioneering efforts across diverse fields. We see this in disproportionate contributions to modern industries like technology, medicine, and media, areas that demand intellectual rigor, adaptability, and a willingness to take calculated risks on innovative ideas. This isn't about reckless speculation, it's about a discerning vision that identifies genuine value creation opportunities and then executes with strategic planning and unwavering commitment. Another hallmark of this strategic business vision is the widespread application of diversification, not just in investments, but in business ventures themselves. The wisdom behind not planting all your seeds in the same soil is deeply ingrained. This means spreading risk across multiple ventures, industries, or geographic locations, thereby reducing vulnerability to downturns in any single area. An entrepreneur might have interests in real estate, technology startups, and a traditional retail business, for example. This is a deliberate strategy to build financial resilience and maximize returns by leveraging different market cycles and opportunities. It acknowledges that uncertainty is inherent in any economic landscape and proactively builds structures to withstand shocks. This foresight and prudent management of risk are essential components of sustained financial success, ensuring that wealth is not only generated but also protected and grown over time. In essence, Pillar 3 reveals that Jewish entrepreneurship is characterized by a powerful fusion of deep ethical conviction and astute business acumen. It's about building enterprises that are not only profitable but also principled, relationships that are not just transactional but trust-based, and strategies that are not just short-sighted but envision generational continuity. This combination of integrity, bold innovation, and prudent diversification creates a robust framework for sustained economic thriving, truly honoring God through righteous and strategic endeavors. Part 6, Pillar 4, the spiritual compass guiding financial management. Having explored the practical aspects of knowledge, community, and ethical entrepreneurship, we now turn to the bedrock upon which all these pillars ultimately rest, the profoundly influential spiritual compass that guides financial management within the Jewish community. This pillar emphasizes that true wealth is inseparable from ethics and spirituality, fostering a balanced and deeply responsible approach to all material possessions. At its core, this pillar holds that money is never an end in itself. It is not something to be worshipped, hoarded, or pursued for selfish gratification. Rather, it is viewed as a powerful means, a tool, a resource, to fulfill greater, divinely appointed purposes. These purposes include, preeminently, helping others, supporting one's family and community, and honoring God with all that one possesses. The wisdom of Proverbs 10 verse 22 eloquently states, "The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it." This verse implies that true, godly wealth comes without the baggage of guilt, greed, or unrighteousness, because it is given for noble purposes. It is seen as a divine entrustment, to be managed with wisdom and dispersed with intention. Central to this spiritual compass is the profound concept of tzedakah. As discussed earlier, tzedakah is far more than mere charity. It is an act of justice and righteousness, a divine obligation. It involves the disciplined, intentional allocation of a portion of one's earnings, typically a tithe of 10%, but often more, for the benefit of the community and those in need. This is not seen as an optional extra, but as an integral part of one's financial ecosystem. This consistent practice of giving reinforces a virtuous cycle of blessings. As one gives generously and righteously, they become a channel for divine provision, and their capacity to receive and give more often expands. It actively combats the spirit of covetousness and trains the heart to be open-handed. This act of giving is rooted in the understanding that everything ultimately belongs to God, and by returning a portion, one acknowledges His sovereignty and invites His continued favor. Moreover, these spiritual principles actively guide daily financial decisions. Businesses are often conducted with a keen awareness of ethical considerations, avoiding ventures that might exploit others, pollute the environment, or compromise moral integrity. There is a deep-seated belief that lasting prosperity is built on righteous foundations, not on shortcuts or illicit gains. This spiritual discernment in business dealings helps build profound market trust, which, as we discussed in Pillar 3, is essential for sustainable growth. In an uncertain world, a reputation for integrity, driven by spiritual conviction, becomes an unshakable asset, attracting ethical partners and loyal customers. The consistent application of these principles means that even in times of economic turbulence or moral ambiguity, financial decisions are anchored in enduring values, providing stability and guiding towards long-term, righteous success. Ultimately, this pillar emphasizes a profound transformation of one's entire relationship with money. It moves beyond seeing money as simply a personal possession or a means to self-gratification, to viewing it as a sacred blessing and a weighty responsibility. It's about becoming a faithful steward of God's resources, leveraging every dollar, every investment, and every business decision for His glory and the good of humanity. This spiritual compass ensures that wealth is not merely accumulated, but purposed, that it becomes an instrument for justice, for compassion, and for the advancement of divine values in the world. It is this inner orientation, this spiritual commitment to responsible and purposeful management, that transforms material success into a true, unseen wealth, a legacy of blessings that resonates throughout time and into eternity. Part 7, Pillar 5, Timeless Financial Wisdom from Biblical Texts and Traditions. We have journeyed through the cultural bedrock and core pillars of Jewish financial resilience, encompassing the pursuit of knowledge, the strength of community, ethical entrepreneurship, and the spiritual compass of management. Now, in this crucial segment, we will delve into the fifth and perhaps most direct pillar, the timeless financial wisdom explicitly extracted from biblical texts and generations of Jewish traditions. These are practical, actionable principles that guide daily financial decisions, fostering prudence, stability, and enduring prosperity. A foundational principle, deeply embedded in Jewish thought, is the profound emphasis on long-term planning and the intentional cultivation of a legacy. This is beautifully articulated in Proverbs 13 verse 22, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the sinner's wealth is laid up for the righteous." This proverb transcends mere financial bequest. It speaks to the foresight of building something sustainable, something that transcends one's own lifespan to bless future generations. It encourages not just wealth accumulation, but wealth preservation and strategic transfer of assets, values, and knowledge. This means cultivating an investment mindset that looks beyond immediate returns to generational impact, ensuring that one's efforts contribute to an enduring family and communal legacy. It implicitly encourages saving, prudent investment, and the avoidance of reckless speculation that might jeopardize future well-being. Another profoundly significant, though often counterintuitive, economic teaching found in biblical texts and Jewish tradition is the Sabbath principle. This is more than just a day of rest. It's a critical economic teaching that establishes a rhythm of work and rest, preventing money and work from becoming idols. The command to observe the Sabbath every seventh day, and the sabbatical year every seventh year, and the Jubilee every 50th year, Leviticus 25, instills a profound trust in God's provision. It forces a pause, a release of control, and a recognition that ultimate provision comes from the divine. Economically, it cultivates discipline, teaches the value of deferred gratification, and prevents burnout. It underscores that true prosperity is not about relentless striving, but about a balanced life that honors God's design for human flourishing. When we deliberately step back from the pursuit of gain, we acknowledge that our security is not in our labor alone, but in God's faithfulness. This spiritual discipline paradoxically contributes to greater long-term productivity and financial stability by preventing exhaustion and realigning priorities. The practice of tithing, the allocation of 10% of one's earnings, is a cornerstone of this timeless financial wisdom, extending beyond tzedakah into a direct act of faith and gratitude to God. Malachi 3 verse 10 calls us to bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. This practice reinforces absolute trust in God as the ultimate provider and creates a tangible cycle of generosity. It's a spiritual anchor, reminding the individual of divine partnership in their finances and fostering a spirit of open-handedness rather than grasping accumulation. This consistent act of giving, rooted in faith, not only supports religious institutions and charitable causes but also cultivates a generous heart that is less susceptible to the traps of greed and materialism. Finally, there is a strong and consistent emphasis on avoiding unnecessary debt and on diligently building financial reserves. The biblical perspective on debt is one of caution. While not always forbidden, it is approached with great prudence, understanding its potential to create bondage. Romans 13 verse 8 admonishes, "Owe no one anything, except to love each other, for the one who loves another has fulfilled the law." This encourages a disciplined approach to borrowing, prioritizing saving and living within one's means. Coupled with this is the proactive building of financial reserves, savings, investments, and emergency funds. The wisdom of Joseph's actions in preparing for famine, Genesis 41, is a powerful paradigm for this. It emphasizes foresight, thrift, and the prudent accumulation of resources to weather future uncertainties. This practice provides a buffer against unforeseen crises, reduces financial stress, and creates a sense of security that allows for greater peace and freedom to pursue opportunities without the looming shadow of debt. In summary, these timeless financial lessons, from leaving a multi-generational inheritance and observing the Sabbath principle, to practicing faithful tithing and diligently avoiding debt while building reserves, cultivate an extraordinary degree of stability, resilience, and purpose in daily financial life. They are not merely quaint traditions, they are divinely inspired principles that, when faithfully applied, empower individuals and communities to manage their resources wisely, honor God profoundly, and ultimately walk in a sustained, unseen wealth that is both materially abundant and spiritually rich. Part 8: Applying the Wisdom, Practical Steps for Personal Financial Transformation. We have journeyed through the cultural bedrock and 5 profound pillars of Jewish financial resilience, delving into the historical context and timeless wisdom that has guided generations. Now, the crucial question that always brings us back to the word on wealth is, how do we translate this profound knowledge, these rich principles, into actionable steps for your personal financial transformation? It is one thing to understand, it is another to apply. The very first step in applying this wisdom is to cultivate a deep-seated mindset of gratitude and unwavering discipline. Before any strategy, before any investment, lies the heart's posture. Gratitude for what you currently have, no matter how small, opens the door to more. Discipline in managing every penny, no matter how insignificant it seems, is the training ground for handling greater abundance. Our Lord Jesus teaches us this fundamental truth in Luke 16 verse 10, "One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much, and one who is dishonest in a very little is also dishonest in much." This principle is universally applicable to finances. Financial freedom does not come from earning a lot and spending it all. It comes from earning what you can and faithfully managing what you have, with gratitude and discipline. Building on this mindset, here are concrete strategies you can begin to implement immediately. 1. Consistent allocation for long-term growth and generosity. Make it a non-negotiable habit to consistently set aside a portion of every income you receive. This involves a twofold allocation. For long-term investments. This is your planting seeds in different soils strategy. Begin saving and investing for your future, whether for retirement, education, or business ventures. The consistency of this action is far more important than the initial amount. Even small, regular contributions, compounded over time, become powerful wealth-building engines. 4. Helping others. Tzedakah/giving. Allocate a designated portion for charitable giving and supporting your community or ministry. This reinforces the understanding that wealth is a tool for blessing and maintains an open hand, combating the spirit of greed. It is an act of faith and gratitude, invoking the cycle of divine blessing. This should be a joyful and intentional act. 2. Commit to continuous learning, financial intelligence. Just as the Jewish tradition emphasizes lifelong learning, commit yourself to perpetually enhancing your financial intelligence. Read foundational books that unpack practical financial principles and wealth-building strategies. Classic texts like George S. Clason's The Richest Man in Babylon offer timeless parables on saving and investing, while Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad challenges conventional wisdom about money and assets. Seek out reputable courses on personal finance, investing, or entrepreneurship. More importantly, identify and connect with mentors, individuals who have successfully navigated financial landscapes and embody the principles of wisdom and integrity. Learn from their experiences, their successes, and their mistakes. Remember, knowledge is power, and applied knowledge is wealth. 3. Align financial goals with life's purpose. Legacy building. This is where your financial journey truly gains spiritual depth and meaning. Instead of merely chasing arbitrary financial targets, ask yourself profound questions. How can the prosperity I build benefit my family, my community, and future generations? How can my financial resources be leveraged to fulfill God's unique purpose for my life and to advance His kingdom? When your financial goals are inextricably linked to your highest values and your divine calling, money transforms from a mere commodity into a powerful instrument of impact. This intentional alignment gives your financial efforts a deeper meaning, driving you with purpose and joy rather than obligation or anxiety. It's about building a legacy of blessing, not just a balance sheet. Embracing these practical steps requires discipline, patience, and a willingness to challenge old habits. But by consistently applying these principles, rooted in timeless biblical wisdom and proven through generations, you will begin to experience a profound transformation in your financial life. You will move from uncertainty to confidence, from scarcity to abundance, and from merely accumulating resources to building a legacy that truly honors God and blesses all those around you. This is your invitation to apply this wisdom and reclaim your financial destiny for His glory. Part 9: The Ultimate Connection, Purpose, Money, and Lasting Legacy. Having explored the practical steps to applying timeless financial wisdom, we now arrive at the pinnacle of our discussion, the profound truth that binds all these elements together and unveils the true secret to lasting, meaningful wealth, the deep, unbreakable connection between your God-given purpose, the money entrusted to you, and the enduring legacy you build. Without this ultimate connection, even significant financial accumulation can feel empty, fleeting, or purposeless. Let us be clear, money, in itself, provides comfort, security, and options. It allows us to provide for our families, to alleviate immediate burdens, and to enjoy many of the good things God has placed on this earth. There is no shame in seeking financial comfort. However, it is purpose that truly gives money meaning. Without a higher calling, without a clear understanding of why you are pursuing financial well-being, wealth can become a source of anxiety, division, or even spiritual decay. But when wealth is aligned with your spiritual and ethical values, when it becomes a tool to fulfill your divine mandate, it transforms into an instrument of profound good. The wise King Solomon, after much personal experimentation, ultimately concludes in Ecclesiastes 3 verses 12 to 13, "I perceive that there is nothing better for them than to be joyful and to do good as long as they live, also that everyone should eat and drink and take pleasure in all his toil. This is God's gift to man." This encapsulates the blessed life, joy in work, good done through our toil, and the recognition that our ability to provide and enjoy is a gift from God, to be used for His purposes. This connection then naturally extends to the concept of legacy. A legacy, in its fullest and most biblical sense, is far more than merely material possessions, real estate, or a financial inheritance left to heirs. While those can be part of it, a true legacy is primarily about imparting enduring values, transmitting profound wisdom, and leaving behind a positive impact that ripples through future generations. It's about shaping hearts and minds, building character, and empowering descendants to live lives of purpose and abundance, not just financially, but spiritually and relationally. It's about the spirit of stewardship, entrepreneurship, and generosity that you instill, enabling your children's children to continue building on the foundation you laid. When purpose guides your financial decisions, it acts as a powerful filter, preventing distractions and prioritizing what truly matters. Instead of being swayed by every fleeting trend or superficial desire, you are anchored by your calling. This clear purpose directs your investments, influences your business ventures, shapes your giving, and dictates your spending. It compels you to ask, does this financial decision move me closer to my God-given purpose? Will it enable me to build bridges, transform lives, and bring glory to God? This intentionality ensures that your wealth is not just accumulated, but activated for kingdom impact. It avoids the pitfall of endless accumulation for its own sake, which can lead to spiritual emptiness and moral compromise. The profound truth is that connecting your purpose with your money exponentially multiplies your impact. When your resources are consecrated to a higher calling, their effectiveness is no longer measured by their mere numerical value, but by the tangible good they generate and the lives they touch. This impact is measured not by what you solely accumulate for yourself, but by what is shared, what is built for others, what spiritual seeds are sown, and what societal needs are met. This is the heart of unseen wealth, the immeasurable value of a life lived purposefully, where financial resources become a powerful catalyst for divine transformation. Consider the example of Abraham, our father in faith. God promised to bless him, not just so he could be wealthy, but so that, in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Genesis 12 verse 3. His purpose was intertwined with his prosperity, making him a channel of blessing for all nations. This is the divine design for our own lives, to be blessed to be a blessing. In conclusion, the ultimate secret to lasting wealth is living a life where your financial resources are intrinsically linked to your God-given purpose, enabling you to build a legacy that transcends mere material possessions and resonates with eternal significance. This is the highest form of stewardship, the fullest expression of biblical abundance, and the most profound way to honor God with all that He has entrusted to you. May you discover and walk in this profound connection, leaving behind a legacy that brings glory to His name for generations to come. Part 10. Your Call to Action. Open your mind and rewrite your financial story. We have journeyed together, exploring the profound principles that underpin true, lasting wealth, particularly through the lens of Jewish financial resilience, and ultimately, through the timeless wisdom of God's Word. We've peeled back layers of misconception, uncovered the power of an abundance mindset, and delved into pillars of knowledge, community, ethical entrepreneurship, and a spiritual compass guiding our finances. We culminated by unveiling the ultimate connection between purpose, money, and a lasting legacy. Now, as we draw to a close, the question that echoes in this sacred space is not what you have heard, but what you will do. The very first and most crucial step in rewriting your financial story, in unlocking the unseen wealth God desires for you, is to actively, deliberately, and consistently open your mind. This means allowing the theoretical ideas and biblical truths we have discussed to move beyond mere intellectual concepts and transform into practical, actionable tools for daily living. It means challenging deeply ingrained limiting beliefs, shedding the scarcity mindset, and embracing the liberating truth of God's limitless provision and your capacity for flourishing. As the Apostle Paul exhorts us in Romans 12 verse 2, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." This transformation of the mind is not passive, it is an active, ongoing process, particularly in the realm of finances. I encourage you, right now, to identify specific areas in your life where you can immediately begin to apply these principles. Perhaps it's in your financial planning, moving from reactive spending to proactive budgeting and strategic saving. Perhaps it's in your commitment to continuous education, carving out daily time for financial literacy study. Perhaps it's in your community engagement, actively seeking out ways to build supportive networks and contribute to mutual growth. Remember, it is the small, consistent steps taken today that lay the unshakable foundation for significant achievements in the future. The wisdom of Proverbs 24 verse 27 reminds us, "Prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that build your house." This speaks to foundational preparation, diligence, and intentionality. Consistency and perseverance are not merely admirable traits, they are absolutely key to unlocking lasting financial transformation. The journey from a scarcity mindset to one of abundance, from financial struggle to freedom, is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But it is in your steadfast commitment to consistent practice, consistently learning, consistently saving, consistently giving, consistently seeking opportunities, and consistently trusting in God's provision, that true and enduring change takes root. The farmer does not plant his seed and immediately expect a harvest. He cultivates, he waters, he waits, and he trusts in the natural processes. So too must we be patient and diligent in our financial cultivation. This is your call to action. Move beyond mere knowledge to consistent, faith-filled practice. Believe, with every fiber of your being, that prosperity, purposeful wealth, and a legacy that honors God are truly within your reach, not by luck, but by divine design and diligent application. I challenge you to act now. Make a declaration, aloud, to yourself, or to a trusted friend, that you are committing to rewrite your financial story, guided by these biblical principles. Pick one specific action step from today's or any previous teaching that you will implement within the next 24 hours. Don't overwhelm yourself, just pick one and execute it. Commit to consistent learning and spiritual growth in this area. Dedicate time each week to deepen your understanding of God's Word concerning money and stewardship. By embracing this call to action, by consistently living out these profound truths, you will begin to see impact not just in your finances, but in every facet of your life. Your relationships will improve, your peace of mind will increase, and your capacity to fulfill your divine purpose will expand exponentially. You are not meant to merely survive, you are called to thrive and to be a channel of God's abundant blessing. If this message has stirred your spirit and empowered you for change, please subscribe to the Word on Wealth channel. Your subscription helps us reach more hearts. Like this video. It tells us this content is valuable to you and helps others discover it. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Be a catalyst for their transformation. Comment below with your declarations or the first step you're taking. Let's build a supportive community. And if you feel led to partner with us in this vital ministry, please consider supporting us through the link in the description. Your generosity enables us to continue spreading this liberating truth. Thank you for joining me on this profound journey. Go forth, open your mind, walk in God's timeless wisdom, and rewrite your financial story for His glory. Until next time, may His blessings be upon you.